Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Olin.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Connect 2016, our 10th Connect at the Wynn. And how about Steve Wynn last night? I'll tell you, that was an amazing, amazing speech, and it was definitely a very interesting man, and some interesting stories there. But today we're here to talk about products, no politics during the presentation this morning. Gabby will be out in a little while to talk about all the software products. I'll spare you my description of all the software applications today. I'm just going to be talking about Fiery and Inkjet, two very important things in the EFI portfolio. And many of you that are here, of course, come from a software background or are here because of the software applications. But we want to make sure that you fully understand all about the Fiery and the Inkjet solutions that we have, because combined together with the software that you have can really create a unique ecosystem, we call it, a unique advantage when all those things are combined together and drive great productivity and great revenue advantages for you as a company. So let's start with Fiery and talk about what's happening there. So those of you that are at Connect for the first time, that maybe have never been exposed to EFI, to our complete portfolio before, may not know what Fiery is. So Fiery is the industry-leading digital front end. It basically makes the digital printer that you buy run better. And when we say better, we mean that it processes files faster, it makes sure that the images that you reproduce are reproduced in a more accurate fashion, both from a color perspective and an image perspective. And Fiery also has a set of workflow tools within it that allow you to prepare the content for output in a very efficient fashion. Fiery is also deeply integrated to your MIS systems, to your web-to-print systems that you may have. And combined together, the productivity software products with Fiery can give you a real advantage in terms of productivity. And when I say that, I mean things like, for example, the Fiery will automatically report back to your MIS system how much paper is used, how long your machine is running on each different job. It'll report how efficient your jobs are being produced on the digital output device versus what you thought that they were going to be produced inside of your MIS system. In addition, using PrintFlow scheduling, which is our award-winning scheduling application, you can create an optimized sequence for how the jobs are going to be produced, and that sequence can automatically be imported into the Fiery and drive your digital device automatically. So without having to build an output queue and build a sequence that the job should be produced in on the digital printer. And beyond that, if you use Digital Storefront, you create a job ticket in Digital Storefront. Your customer creates a job ticket in Digital Storefront. When they submit a job to you to produce, that job ticket can automatically be fed to the Fiery and automatically configure the digital front end, and therefore configure the printer. So you save those keystrokes out on the shop floor, and you're cutting a significant amount of time from the labor that's at the equipment, that's actually configuring the device. So you can basically have a touchless environment. All the people on the shop floor have to do is load the paper by capturing the job at the front end and passing it through your e-commerce system, passing it through the MIS, schedule it, pass it directly to the Fiery. The machine's automatically configured. You capture the productivity information and then feed it back to the MIS, and you build a closed-loop automated system. And so if you haven't seen this yet, definitely take a look at it in the lab. If when you are going to buy a digital printer, you're not offered a Fiery for that digital printer, I urge you to first ask the salesperson that's talking to you about it whether there is a Fiery available for it. If there's no Fiery, please call our people and ask them what other printers are available that do have a Fiery available for it that can plug in to your MIS infrastructure, to your e-commerce solution that can get you this productivity advantage that you won't see otherwise without that Fiery. And so we've had a lot of activity. There are literally dozens, over 100 probably devices now that are supported by a Fiery today. And these are some of the new presses that were introduced over the last year that have a Fiery. And some of these are actually in the computer lab behind us here. So again, take a look, see how the Fiery works in real time when connected to the device, and see what advantages it can give you when it's integrated with your MIS solution. So Fiery itself has also had a number of innovations that took place over the last 12 months, and this includes new versions of the Fiery that were released that are faster, new Command Workstation. We had, to give you an idea about the amount of usage of Command Workstation out in the industry, we put up the new software release of Command Workstation. That's the actual user interface that you use to the Fiery that allows you to do the workflow preparation and prepare the files, manage the files for output. When we put that up on the internet for download, over 200,000 downloads were done of Command Workstation when we put that up there. That gives you an idea about the number of people that care about the latest version of the Fiery and that are using that day in, day out. We came out with an enhanced version of the integration this year with the MIS solutions. We added more MIS products that are fully integrated to the Fiery, including some of the acquisitions we did over the last 12 months. Gabby will talk to you more about that. And we got a number of awards that I'll mention in a little while. And I should also mention strong self-service growth, a little known part of our portfolio. Many of you may not be aware. For those of you that have storefronts, actually real storefronts, not the digital storefronts type, but where people actually come into your shop, we have a tool called NTRAC that actually allows self-service access to digital output devices. So it allows you to take a credit card and payment and get files off of a thumb drive and so on and feed them to the output device. So it's a self-service device that a lot of our customers have put in, and FedEx Office and Staples and so on have some of these. But I'd urge you to take a look at that again if you do have a place where customers actually come in to interact in your facility. Fiery also is very strong in our inkjet portfolio. When you look at our GS3LX over there, or the 1625 that's over there, you'll see Fiery front ends driving those wide format printers, and again provides that same advantage of productivity, workflow, speed, and so on in the inkjet world as well as the toner world. And we're going to be adding Fieries for our Reggiani and for our Matan products as well over the coming year. We just acquired those about 6 months ago, but that's in process as well, and you'll be seeing the advantages of Fiery in that world also. I'll be talking about those products in a few moments. And finally, on the technology side, so Fiery's won a number of awards, a number of must-see-ems at Graph Expo. Quick Printing, it awarded it this Top Products Award for 2015. So Fiery continues to differentiate itself to be the leading product when it comes to digital front ends. And so again, I urge you, please take a look and get a demonstration of the Fiery while you're here and see what it can provide. On the inkjet solution side, we've also been very, very busy over the last 12 months with a lot of product introductions. The first, the GS3LX Pro that I mentioned just a moment ago, which is over there in the computer lab. That's our next generation hybrid printer that allows both roll feeding and flatbed feeding into the printer. And we did a dramatic increase in speed and productivity for this device over our prior generation. This, of course, uses our LED curing, which is cold curing via ultraviolet light that uses 85% less energy than traditional curing, and gives you still flexibility in terms of the type of applications that can be used, as the ink is very flexible, can be used for vehicle wraps, for a lot of other different applications, point of purchase displays, and so on. And again, take a look at that in the lab. Our HS125 Pro, which we're not showing here, that's our largest, top-of-the-line, fastest display graphics printer that we have, that we announced in the fall. 125 boards per hour, so very, very high-speed production. Our HSR Pro is an adaptation of this very high-speed printer adapted for roll-to-roll feeding. It's the fastest roll-to-roll printer on the market today. Going to some other products that we introduced, the 5250 LXR Pro is our mid-range, top-of-the-line roll-to-roll printer that we sell. Again, a 5-meter wide printer, so this thing's very, very big. We didn't bring one in here because it probably wouldn't fit. But having white capabilities and a lot of great features, again, that makes it a leader in the industry. A couple of things, and these two last applications, I think, are interesting because they provide niche capabilities for our 1625 printer, which again is the one over there, that gets us into some specific new spaces. So thermoforming is the ability to print on a sheet of plastic and then heat it up, and you apply it to a wood mold to create a shape out of the plastic. It's creates a three-dimensional shape. Now, we're not getting into 3D printing or anything like that, but this is it does give you an ability to mold 3D objects from this. And again, for different types of specialty applications, it can be a great niche market where the advent or capability to do this in digital printing, the thing that's unique that we were able to do here is that we developed an ink that can stretch and still maintain its integrity. And so you can have up to 12 inches of drop, I believe is the number, in terms of the depth when you push this sheet of plastic over the wood mold to create that three-dimensional shape. And the ink will still stay intact, it won't crack, and give you a very a vivid image the way that you'd see it on the flat piece of plastic. We also are coming out with a roadway signage version of the 1625 that prints on material certified for outdoor use for signage. So again, a niche application that we're able to apply our products to. Our CreditPrint C4 ceramic printer we introduced last year. Again, not many, well, probably none of you in the audience here are in the ceramic tile manufacturing business, so not particularly relevant to you, but again, it's an example of some of the unique things that we do. There's actually a printed home of the future display that many of you may not have seen back over in the corner over there. It's actually a room where all the materials in the room are printed with EFI products. So that includes the ceramic tile on the floor, the furniture, the curtains, the fabric on the furniture, the lamp shade, everything. So again, take a look at that just so you can see the variety of different applications that you can do with inkjet today. Besides all the new products that we came out with before, we also came out with some new options on our display graphics printers. And so this includes things like a clear coat for our H2000, where you can actually apply a gloss clear coat as part of the printing process. So in real time, using one of the heads, using the heads on the printer. Different types of tables to be able to do different types of flatbed work on our hybrid range. With our top of the line, the HS125 that I mentioned before, we came up with some full automation for unloading on the thing. So it actually works more like what you'd expect out of your offset press, where it's taking the sheets or the boards, very large boards, and stacking them on the back side of the inkjet press to give you kind of a full productivity press with complete capabilities. And we introduced orange and violet ink to increase the gamut of different images that you can reproduce with our top-of-the-line HS100 and 125 products. The real exciting thing that we did over the last year that was kind of a brand new industry for us, and Guy mentioned it yesterday, was our acquisition of Reggiani in July. And so this is what I certainly see as a huge, let's say, mega trend within the display graphics space, that we're seeing a lot more demand for textile-based signage than in the past. And so this is people requesting that signs be printed on textile, on typically polyester, rather than printed on paper or vinyl. And the reason behind that is that when you have a large sign like the one behind me and you want to ship that someplace, if you print it on this textile, you can fold it up into a little square, ship it in an envelope. It weighs next to nothing. You can stretch it around a frame when you get it to its destination, and it's going to look perfect. So think about people that need to change signs very frequently in retail stores, that need to do displays for trade shows and things of that sort. The textile signage can just be much, much more efficient. And with this Reggiani acquisition, we bought the leading provider in this space of textile printers. And so that Reggiani 180 that you see there is a 1.8 meter wide textile printer that is actually a dye sublimation printer. So it prints on dye sublimation paper to then apply to the to polyester. That gives you kind of the industry-leading textile print capability in an entry-level offering that lets you dive into this soft signage space. And we think that this is going to be a huge, from what we hear from all of you, that this opportunity to get into soft signage with textile printers is a great growth opportunity for the industry. And so I definitely ask you to ask your sales reps about it and learn about this opportunity in soft signage. We also acquired EFI Matan in Israel. This is a roll-to-roll printer. There's one of those right there in the hall here. This provides great roll-to-roll color quality, but also with some automation built in for slitting and cutting that allows you to get some great productivity out of your roll-to-roll device. And finally, we came up with this EFI Armor, which is a coating that can go on top of your printed items that gives them additional durability when exposed to the elements and different types of materials. So on that note, I'm going to wrap up and hand it to Gabby, as he's got a lot of software products to talk to you about. And I know, again, that's the reason why most of you are here. So with no further ado, I will introduce Gabby. And tell you about the software.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. So it's a real pleasure to start the year meeting all of you here at Connect. And I really want to thank you for taking the time and making the investment to join us here. And I'm definitely looking forward to meeting all of you around and exchanging and hearing your feedback and comments and anything I can learn from you. As you may remember, last year at Connect, we announced the Productivity Street strategy. And we've shared with you that this is really a multi-year investment that is all geared around being able to provide you better end-to-end solutions that would help you grow, would help you automate, would help you make more money. And as we did that, we've also shared that this goes beyond just a product portfolio offering. That is really an attempted change to change our mode of operation and to change the way that we partner with you, the way we try to consult in terms of where there's opportunity to do better, and in terms of the service that we provide to you. So it's really quite a significant change that we took upon ourselves to try to do a better job in partnering and enabling your success. And I'll definitely be very happy today to kind of share with you where we made major progress and some of our plans going forward, and would love to hear your feedback throughout this event. But before we do that, I wanted to take a step back and share with you some of the observations that we hear from you about the market and some of the observations that we see in the marketplace. And of course, those are playing a major role in influencing how we are advancing our product portfolio and how we try to do a better job in supporting you. So the first is that whether you are trying to grow the business, whether the volume is growing, whether you're trying to diversify the product portfolio of the things that you are producing, whether you are consolidating certain operations to try to drive more efficiency, whatever it is that you do, there is a continuous opportunity to get more automation and more efficiency, and I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't know. An opportunity to reduce touch points, to eliminate manual intervention, to basically eliminate waste, and to try to optimize the ecosystem that you've created over the years that may include EFI elements in it and third-party elements as well. And when that is done right, the return, the reward could be significant. I'm just shared one quote from one customer. That said, each of you has some level of uniqueness in the way that you approach customers, in the portfolio of products that you produce, And the trick is really to find how can I use best-in-class, out-of-the-box products, use some industry best practices, but that still account for some of your uniqueness so that the result of that is really something that fits you very well. And that sometimes could be tricky to do. Now, as you recognize that, and as you identify the fact that it is time to change, some are hesitant. They're hesitant because those kinds of changes may cause an impact on your ongoing operations. Could cause some headaches. And definitely if you are growing, you don't need too many headaches. You want to just continue to grow. So I think Guy mentioned yesterday the fact that making no decision is probably the worst strategy. You have to make some bold decisions, and you will need to make those changes. Expanding the workflow, getting new capability in place, getting more automation in place. But that said, our obligation and your expectation is for us to be able to provide better ways to evolve gradually, to be able to pick those things which are really important and making those changes in a gradual way, and potentially through multiple phases, year by year, getting to where you really want to get to in terms of your level of end-to-end capability and in support of your business growth. And definitely we need to do a better job, and it's something which is high on my agenda, to ensure that evolution is there, and that upgradability becomes a smaller and a smaller pain point. We have some good results in that extent. We also have some cases that I'm not so proud about. So how to create that, how to enable gradual evolution, how to enable better ability to upgrade with the least pain possible is definitely something which is high on our agenda. Now, as you identify the opportunity for change, in many cases, you would like to brainstorm or consult with someone that have seen implementation and have seen businesses similar to yours around the world. And we're definitely dealing with thousands of them, any given year. So the ability to sit down and look at the end-to-end workflow that you are using today, the ability to identify those opportunities, more importantly, find effective and practical and pragmatic ways to go about them to drive progress. That's something that I see day in, day out as something which is needed in the industry. And given our extensive experience and exposure to many printing and packaging companies around the world, we took upon ourselves the responsibility to build a stronger capability around consulting services as a business enabler. In addition to that, we've seen that there are cases where somebody is making a bold move and embarking on a major transformation. And that's not something that you might be doing every day or every year. So the ability to be able to provide help around how to program manage something like that, how to control the different vendors, including EFI being one of them, as you do that transformation, is something that is also not necessarily native to you because you don't do that every year. And so in many cases, we see the opportunity to provide that value and actually help you do that. So I think that consulting services as an enabler for that advancement is something which we see in the marketplace as needed, and definitely we're making quite a bit of investment to be able to bring value. Now, in the software world, many offerings are moving to the cloud. And we see as our obligation to provide that option to you as well. And so we have more cloud capability being offered these days. We're going to continue to invest and have more of those available. And those could be in the form of an entire solution, which is SaaS-based on the cloud, or just adding value-added products in a SaaS model on top of an ERP that you're managing yourself. So we see that need gradually increasing. We see our obligation to provide that to you as an option that you may consider. Cross-media is a topic that is kind of close to my heart. And the reason is that, I'm relatively new in the industry, and one of the things I've seen is that there are kind of two camps, right? There are those that are saying, well, print services provider really need to start becoming marketing service providers, and, that's the future, and we have to do that. And there are others that say, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm a printing service provider. That is what I do well. That's what I like to do. I don't know if I want to transform myself to that other extreme. And I truly believe that there's a lot of room in between. So actually, I'm an advocate of look at where that can help your business. How can this be a spice that makes the overall dish that you are trying to cook, taste better for your customers? How can it provide a little bit of an edge to your customers? How can help you create differentiation? It's really not an all or nothing thing. It's let's identify where it can help me. And I think that we've gained some experience in consulting around that. We definitely have more room to grow from that perspective, but I would definitely encourage you to consider that and see what could fit your specific case, what could fit your customers, and whether that can be an enhancer to your overall offering and the overall experience that your customers are receiving from you. And last, packaging is a growing market, whether it's tag and label, folding carton, flexible packaging, corrugated packaging. And within packaging, digital starts becoming an important factor. In those different market segments, it's to a different extent. In some cases, it's an early stage. In some cases, it's more advanced stage. But this is happening, and there is no way back. So our responsibility is to provide better support for digital capabilities in our packaging offerings. And I'm hearing from many of you the recognition that as you start doing that, as you're getting more into digital, it really changes and extends the end-to-end workflow requirements. And therefore, this is definitely a trend that we see and an area where we invest to be able to provide you with a better capability. So let's take a step back and speak a little bit about the productivity suite strategy that we've announced last year and speak about what progress have we made in order to make that a reality which is of value to you. The promise behind the productivity suite strategy was really to be able to provide an end-to-end offering, end-to-end optimized workflows, end-to-end business value that you get out of the box, trying to minimize the headache of dealing with how to put all the pieces together. And to do that in a way that supports evolution, gradual evolution, so that you can make measured steps that gets you massive impact, rather than just rip and replace. And to have it designed in a way that there could be a rapid deployment to get you a return on investment which is faster. And to do that in a way where you know that we are investing in the infrastructure technology behind the suite that would serve you as you continue to expand, so that that solution would evolve with your business needs. And on top of that, I emphasized this last year, and I emphasized even further this year, complement that product offering with consulting services that can help you figure out where the bigger opportunity is, and more importantly, what would be the best approaches to go about it. And that includes bringing best practices and things that we see working elsewhere as an option for you to consider. And hopefully over time, us having a stronger opinion about what we would recommend, although at the end of the day, it's really your decision. So rather than you can do it this way, that way, or the other way, you decide, here is what we're seeing out there. Here is what we would be recommending. Here is some other options that could work too. But we definitely have some recommendation and some reference point that we can share with you. So that's been the productivity suite promise. And as I've said, it's a multi-year investment, and it's a gradual improvement. Some of you may have seen some of the results. Some of you haven't seen yet. But I'm sure that as time goes by, the benefit would support you and support your success. So 1 year in this, with this strategy, I can definitely say that you can see end-to-end workflows in action. And I really encourage you to go back in the room to look at the lab here and see real products. This is not demos. These are real products. And see end-to-end workflows at their best, and how end-to-end workflows can really help you improve your bottom line and grow your business. In addition to that, we spent in the last year to try to see how can we improve our ecosystem integration, leveraging Fiery and more so Fiery Central to get into more engines from more providers, and try to have that automation included as well. And in addition to that, we transformed the way that we look at this space in terms of trying to look at everything from an end-to-end perspective, in the way that we envision new capabilities, in the way that we recognize that end-to-end workflows would be different for different sub-markets of printing and packaging, so identify the right ones for each sub-segment of the market. In the way that we design and define the technology to support those needs, in the way that we develop our products, in the way that we certify them. So it's been a major shift in the way that we try to look at the problem and try to solve it in a way that would serve you better. And 1 year in, I can say that our commitment to that is still firm. Commitment to continue with our portfolio investment, continue to adopt your feedback and your thoughts and your priorities into our decision-making around our progress, and commitment to continue to invest with consulting services to enable you to get better benefit out of that improvement in technology. So we have made very good progress, and we're trying to further accelerate our execution on that strategy. I want to take you to a kind of a backstage tour, just to explain what does really mean, to be able to do that, so that you have a little bit more clarity as to what's really happening behind the scenes. So from a portfolio perspective, and I'll share with you very shortly how we expanded the depth and the breadth of the productivity suite, and that's something that we're going to continue to do, and that's something that you would expect from us to do. But in addition to that, as I've said, we changed our mode of operation. So here are some examples. Product management, that practice that defines how to advance products and what the future needs to be, really became a portfolio product management. It's the end-to-end workflow that drives our decision. We have very capable people, some of them are here, that think, how should we progress a given workflow to a given subsegment of the industry? And what is really needed? And how that should impact the different components and the different capabilities overall in the productivity suite. And then the way that we go about it from an architecture standpoint, having suite or end-to-end architects that have that overall comprehension of how this should really work. So it's no longer a bunch of products. It's really building that end-to-end capability almost in every practice that we have, in our offices, in our backstage. In addition to that, the concept of suite certified and being very serious about that. In the way that we design, the way that we build, and the way that we certify those workflows is something which is now part of or a growing part of our DNA, I should say, because it is an evolution, it is a transformation. And that makes major impacts on on our software development lifecycle, on our quality learning process in terms of learning from feedback and issues on the field, in terms of how to do a better job next time. Upgradability is one example of that. And really how to define what ready means. It's a readiness of the overall certified suite. It's readiness of professional services being able to deploy a new type of workflow. It's the ability of our support personnel to be able to support an end-to-end workflow. So it's really a major change in terms of how we operate and how we try to bring that value to you. In addition to that, from a professional services perspective, we've made massive investment in terms of living up to the complement that is needed for you to get benefit from the technology. We've revamped our audit services capability, which allows our experts to come in to take a look of how are you using our solutions and whether there's an opportunity for you to get more out of it. In addition to that, building a capability that allows to look at your end-to-end workflow and find ways to potentially extend it or adjust it to provide additional value. I've mentioned earlier the situation where you have to go through a major project or transformation that may involve people from EFI or maybe other vendors as well. And managing all of that is something which is complicated. Not always you have that capability in-house, and sometimes trying to go about it yourself without getting the professional help could not just delay things, but also increase cost and potentially reduce the overall benefit and the return on investment. So building a capability to allow to do not just project manager, but also program management, and manage a program that involves multiple parties, and having an expert which becomes really your guy to help you do that is another service that we've been investing in, again, to enable you to get more out of the technology that we develop. And last, to be able to be a partner that can sit down with you and look at your current needs, look at your future needs, and try to figure out what should be the path or the roadmap for your business in terms of its workflow capabilities and in terms of the progression that you want to make. And then with that wisdom, you may choose to work with us, you can choose with somebody else, but at least you got some good experience from the marketplace in terms of how to go about that. So both around the portfolio and both around services, we've made massive investment in terms of changing and transforming. As I've said, some of you probably have seen it already, some would see it in the future. It is a process, it is an evolution, but it's something that we are very passionate about and very committed to do. And I think that is going to help us, be a much better partner to you, this year and in the years to come. Let's speak a little bit about specific addition to the productivity suite and the progress that we have made in terms of capability. So as you may recall, the overall productivity suite has in its core the relevant ERP or MIS, which is relevant for your sub-segment of the market, that is relevant to the kind of things that each of you is producing. And around it, there is a set of value-add capabilities that are intended to allow you to drive or generate new revenues, whether it's through course media that I've mentioned earlier, whether it's through extended e-commerce, whether it's through better customer relationship management. Some of you are going into fulfillment and warehousing as an additional business, so how to do that better. Tools around efficiency and profitability, which is really our bread and butter. Whether it's advanced abilities to quote and estimate, definitely quote more complex job, but also many more jobs much faster. As runs are becoming shorter. The ability to schedule in a more sophisticated way, and so on and so forth. As well as capabilities related to pre-production and various capability in production. So the productivity suite is really all about that, the core ERP and many value-add services around it. And when you take that and you put it in the overall ecosystem that EFI is attempting to provide, you can really see that we are covering a very extensive workflow, starting with marketing capabilities through acquisitions of jobs, management of those, pre-production element, of course, the production itself with integration to almost any equipment out there, whether it's offset or digital. Of course, leveraging Fiery and Fiery Central, and then post-production. The big difference is that it's suite certified. That those workflows are designed, built, and validated in an end-to-end productivity suite context. And that's a big difference. We've announced last year 3 productivity suites. The packaging suite with Radius as its core ERP. The enterprise commercial print suite with Monarch Foundation as its core ERP. And the mid-market print suite with Pace as its core ERP. And we've made major progress on each one of those, which I'm going to share the highlights with you. And then in the different classes and in the lab, you can see much more than what I'm going to be pointing to you today. But I'm very pleased to announce today 3 additional productivity suites that would be available in the marketplace. The first is the corrugated packaging suite. As you probably have read, we thought that corrugated packaging is a market of opportunity. We thought that we are obliged as a market leader to have a good capability and a good technology to provide end-to-end workflow for corrugated packaging. And therefore, we made a move by acquiring Corrugated Technologies, Inc., and to use that technology and the know-how to be able to provide to you the corrugated packaging suite. And I'm going to speak a little bit more about what's really in there. We're also announcing the publication print suite. Now, we have supported publication. I mean, a few of you are definitely in the publication print business, and we have supported that for many, many years. We thought that we should recognize it as a separate productivity suite because the workflows are somewhat different. And to ensure that we have enough focus on those workflows to be properly supporting your needs. And I'll, of course, expand more about that. And last but not least is the quick print suite with Printsmith Vision as the core MIS, which is intended for small print shops, some implants, franchisor network, and so on, And this is really an all SaaS cloud-based offering. So the Quick Print Suite is an example of an all SaaS offering that we are bringing to the marketplace. So let's go one by one and share a little bit about what we've done in that context. I'll start with the enterprise commercial print suite and say that, and by the way, in each of those productivity suites, I'm going to share with you things which are either released in the second half of 2015 or are about to be released in the coming weeks. So everything that you are seeing is basically available to be considered and available to be delivered in the coming, definitely, in the first half of 2016. So with the enterprise commercial print, one of the major advancements that we've made, of course with Monarch Foundation as the core MIS, is a major addition in the form of next generation customer management, estimating, quoting, and planning capability for commercial printer. It is based on our iCRM, iQuote, and iPlan capabilities. It's a complete end-to-end workflow that leverage existing investment in the core MIS, which is Monarch Foundation, as well as other elements that might have been there before, whether it's shop floor and DMI through the AutoCount technology, whether it's scheduling through the print flow technology, and so on. So it's really an extension, a significant extension of the capabilities, and it's really an amazing offering. Those of you who are having very diversified jobs, diversified set of equipment, and so on, I mean, I think that this is really a godsend. So I really recommend to take a look at that and see the power that provides. In addition to that, we made efforts this year in certifying digital print workflows for commercial print. Of course, leveraging Fiery. We've invested in e-commerce and automated workflows as part of the digital support for commercial printing. We've increased capability around inventory and purchasing. And this is an example of an area where many of the ideas that we've included actually came from customers. Many of them are European customers. And those were brought into the offering. And then we are launching, not just for the commercial print suite, but for most of the suite, a new unified capability that we named the Productivity Suite Software Workbench, or Productivity Suite Workbench, which is really a dashboard and a launching pad that every user in your plant, regardless of the role of that user, can use as a starting point for everything which is being done. And that's something I definitely recommend to look at the back, if you have a few minutes. So it's basically a way for you to define a standard view and a standard dashboard for everything that that specific role needs to know, as well as a very convenient way to launch different activities and transactions and to do your ongoing work from that workbench. Very cool technology that we're intending to continue to invest in, and this is one step in standardizing the user experience of the productivity suite, which there is no magic button to push to change that in a day, but we're definitely committed to that, and it's going to be a multi-year transformation. The workbench is one first delivery to you that can represent the progress that we're intending to do. On the packaging suite side, devil's advocates can say that, was it really a suite? I mean, it has the radius CRP in the middle, and they had some print flow capability and a scheduling capability. We've made massive investment to extend the packaging suite to be a true suite that has more value-added capabilities included in it. And I'm very pleased to say that in addition to integration with ESCO Automation and with Atrios CAD, which we've already released, meaning embedding third party into the workflow, and in addition to the Productivity Software Workbench, which, as I've said, we are announcing with most of our productivity suites, we've also introduced advanced estimating and planning for folding carton, again, using the iCRM, iQuote, and iPlan capabilities. And that is going to be extended in the months to come also for additional markets, for tag and label, for flexibles, and so on. We've been introducing next generation data collection and the plant dashboard that you can see in the back, using the AutoCount technology, with some spices added for packaging, such as traceability, support for traceability. So that's a suite technology that has been available there, now included also in the packaging suite, and would provide a real uplift and upscale capability around the shop floor and DMI. And then we also included layout optimization for tag and labels and folding carton that using the metrics component of the suite that is now certified with the packaging suite. So the packaging suite really becomes this year a real suite in terms of its span. And the intent is somewhere in the second half of the year to also advance the digital workflow capability and to include e-commerce through the digital storefront component in the packaging suite. So that's a major extension, again, of the packaging world to become, the packaging offer of EFI to become a real packaging suite. With mid-market print suite with PACE at its core, we've been releasing in the second half of 2015 quite a cool and effective workflow that includes the metrics, layouting, and imposition in it. And we're releasing now some additional capabilities which are based a lot on feedback that we've received from many of you. So I'm definitely feeling very good and very comfortable about that capability, and I, again, encourage you to take a look at that in this event. We've made some scheduling improvements. We made some CRM improvements for the mid-market productivity suite, and we've included the productivity suite workbench as an additional element. But the big advancement of our mid-market print suite is really around support for super wide format, both in terms of having an improved super wide format estimating process that shortened the process and make it much more fast and efficient, improving the user experience around that, and of course, the overall integration with FireXF and super wide devices, definitely ViewTech. So we're really excited about bringing to market much more robust support for super wide, and I mean, again, encourage all of you to take a look at that. Let's say a few words about the newer productivity suites that we've announced today. I'll start with the publication print suite. So the publication print suite is really an end-to-end solution to provide estimating, planning, scheduling, tracking, and production for publication printers. And it's aimed to support sheet-fed, web, digital, to have advanced prepress integration, and to provide optimized job and part ganging. So many of you have actually used our publication print capability using the Monarch Foundation and Monarch Planner as kind of the core capability for quite some time. And the investment in that is going to continue, and the advancement of that is going to continue. But we have found out that some customers around the world have needs that could be better served by using the Technique ERP as the core ERP. So we found, or we've concluded our obligation is to be able to provide a publication and print suite capability and experience using either of those core ERPs. And therefore, we are going to recognize the specific need of customers and try to fit the choice of the right core ERP in the publication suite depending on the unique needs of customers. So if somebody, for example, is doing mainly newspaper, that's going to be Technique and so on. So the commitment to the publication print space is there big time from us. We are providing two options to be able to better fit to the different needs worldwide of different customers. The Quick Print Suite is really, as I've said, a SaaS offering for small print shops that combines e-commerce capability through digital storefront, Printsmith Vision as the core MIS, new scheduling capability that is being added, and of course, Fiery integration. And basically provide an end-to-end, small but end-to-end workflow for smaller print shops, provided as a SaaS service on the cloud, fully maintained and taken care of by our teams. So that's a new offering to the marketplace. We actually have some good traction with it before being announced and such. But the announcement of it to be a productivity suite basically means that the suite certified responsibility and obligation on our part is going to play a role in making this an even better offering for customers. And last, corrugated packaging that became dearer to my heart in the last year. And this is really an attempt to provide an end-to-end corrugated business and production workflow capabilities to both sheet feeders, sheet plants, and full corrugated box plants. Their needs are not exactly the same, and to be able to support all of those successfully. by providing business system or ERP capabilities, combined with manufacturing execution system capabilities, provided as end-to-end certified workflows. And as I've said, digital is a big driver. We're making an investment in introducing a stronger digital capability in that offering, and that's going to be available in the Q2 this year. Of course, leveraging Fiery as the in terms of connectivity to some of the digital devices. More specifically, in terms of, so what's really in there, right? So on the business system or the ERP side, you'll find many of the things which are well known, whether it's order acquisition and estimating and job costing and tooling and purchasing and so on. Order promising is a big driver and quite a complex capability to offer in the corrugated space these days. So it's quite a round-up capability around the basic business system and the ERP support. On the manufacturing side, there are multiple elements that would be very relevant for a corrugated plant, but also for some of our folding carton customers that have some corrugated plants in their overall mix, to provide both corrugated scheduling and trimming for the corrugation process itself, providing plant converting, both scheduling and planning for the converting process itself, whether it's for a fully corrugated box plant or for the sheet plants, as well as providing data collection, direct machine interface. There is a leverage in terms of a plant dashboard with some of the existing EFI technologies which are being brought into the mix, providing roll stock inventory management, which is an important element in the corrugated business to provide or to help support the bottom line, and provide shipping planning, finished good tracking, and overall supply chain execution. So it's a very robust offering with elements that can be provided as an end-to-end workflow, as well as standalone elements that can enhance an existing environment. And we're very excited about the opportunity that provides to EFI to use our market presence to help so many more customers around the world that having something to do with corrugated as well. And last, from an e-commerce and cross-media marketing perspective, and as I said earlier, I think that this can definitely be a spice or that you add to your overall mix that can make a big difference. The first thing we've done, which we spoke about last year, is really to combine those capabilities together. So in an e-commerce environment, you can actually buy as a user a campaign and execute that campaign. And those campaigns, in many cases, by the way, also generate much more print because in most cases, their reaction to printed material compared to other non-printed media or channels, you see higher response rate to the printed materials. And in many cases, when people are running campaigns and trying to look at what the results are, they actually encourage them to print more. And so that integration or providing them together is one thing that we've been working very hard this year to do. The second thing is that we're introducing a smart canvas, which is HTML5-based VDP editor that would be available within the cross-media with digital storefront and, of course, in the combined offering, which we think is going to provide much more tools that you can provide to your customers in terms of their personalized, in generating personal experience. In addition to that, we did some of the necessary elements, such as VAT support for Europe and improving the ability to do shipping calculation, early stage in the workflow, ability to provide additional means for payment through a WorldPay integration, and so on and so forth. And as I've said, our e-commerce and cross-media are an inherent component inside all of our productivity suites, with the exclusion of a packaging suite, which is going to come in the second half of the year, as well as the standalone capability that can provide significant value in an existing ecosystem. So I think I shared much more detail than I thought I would. Hopefully you survived that okay. And there's a lot to see. And I think that this year, more than ever before, spending time in the different stations here in the lab would be worthwhile to try to visualize and get an idea of what all of those things really mean. And hopefully you'll find them very valuable. I'm going to try to spend as much time as I can in this room today. So I would humbly request that reach out, say hello, share with me some of your thoughts. I love to hear that and take that into account as we collectively pave our path forward. In addition to that, there are some new things that we've introduced at Connect this year. voice of the customer sessions, where we really want to hear what you think and take that into account. We're going to have product managers and marketing folks in the room to be able to absorb all that input. We are introducing some new sessions around consulting services and how can they bring value to you. Again, I would love to hear your feedback about that because that has been quite a bit of an investment this year. As well as discover sessions around some of the newer capability that we have and how can they play to your advantage. So a lot to see at Connect, and hopefully you'll take the full advantage of that. I want to summarize by reiterating to your commitment. We've done a lot of work and made major investment this year, recognizing that this is a multi-year process. We'll have to continue to do that, continue to push forward, and continue to do our best to support your success and business growth. And I want to reiterate that commitment to you. The commitment to continue to do our best to provide you value and to improve the operational excellence that you see from us. The commitment to continue to go and accelerate the investment in our productivity suite and to take your feedback and include that to the best of our ability in that path forward. To really share that we really want to be partners, both in the parts where you are thinking about steps forward, definitely when you make some choices and want to work with us. And that's a big responsibility on our part in the way that we advise and consult when you're considering new options, when you actually make a decision and hopefully decide to work with us, and as you go into implementation. That's a big responsibility on our part, and I would hope that we would do well in terms of playing our part of that partnership, and I definitely want to hear your feedback in terms of where that works and where that doesn't work, so we can continue to improve in the partnership that we provide you. And the last thing, I'm fully committed to continue to do our best and to continue to invest in growing our teams, our very capable teams, and attracting additional people to join our teams that come with that end-to-end philosophy, that comes with that end-to-end workflow approach in mind, and make sure that we continue to bring that value to you in faster and in a bigger extent year over year. So with that, I want to thank you very much for spending the early morning with us. And I'm really looking forward to meet you in the show today, and looking forward to hearing from you how I can do better, how we can do better, and what are the things that you do like about what we do so that we can make sure that we continue to do that. So thank you very much for the time, and looking forward to speaking with you again today.